Adam Hamilton's little book, Enough, provides everyone who reads it an overview of what is ultimately and eternally significant in life. His theme is captured well in the subtitle of the book, Discovering Joy Through Simplicity and Generosity. Those three key words, joy, simplicity, generosity, provide the clues to the message that is briefly written but powerfully spelled out in these pages. They are also words that do not always go down well for those of us who live in this Western world, built so much on accumulating and amassing and protecting what we have. I'm delighted that the Stewardship Committee of the Western North Carolina Conference is strongly urging churches across our conference to engage this book in prayerful study this year in preparation for the Fall Stewardship Campaign. It will, I believe, provide an excellent foundation upon which to build and to learn and to grow in our faithful sharing of the resources that God has so abundantly given to us. These have been difficult months for almost every one of us across our state in light of the harsh economic realities that face not only our country but indeed the entire world. It may not seem an appropriate time for the church to even talk about money, but it also may be the best of times to address critical issues about our possessions, about our attitudes toward those possessions, about our faithfulness in following the biblical principle of tithing as the baseline for our stewardship habits. Perhaps one of the reasons that we are struggling to make sense of all that is happening around us right now is our failure to practice faithful stewardship over time. As Hamilton puts it in his book, these ultimate causes are not financial, but spiritual. When we begin to discipline ourselves in different ways, we discover that words like joy and simplicity and generosity are the way of faithful stewardship. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 17 to 19 is a biblical reference that helps us keep all of this in perspective. Listen to those verses from the Message, the Eugene Peterson paraphrase. I like his language. Tell those rich in this world's wealth to quit being so full of themselves and so obsessed with money, which is here today and gone tomorrow. Tell them to go after God, who piles on all the riches we could ever manage, to do good, to be rich in helping others, and to be extravagantly generous. If they do that, they will build a treasury that will last, gaining life that is truly life. As we all know, at least we've heard it in Bible studies and lessons, it's not money that presents the problem, it's our love of it. As this text from Timothy suggests, we get obsessed with our possessions, believing that if we have them, our lives will somehow be happy, or they will be filled with things that will make life good. We learn the hard way that accumulating things ends up not only taking up space, but also turning us away from God and from maturing relationships with God and others. Jesus puts it this way, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. When Deborah and I moved to Charlotte last year, we became painfully aware of how much stuff we have accumulated in our 38 years of marriage. Even after we did our version of simplifying, we still had stuff. Most of it has now been moved to Charlotte, although the majority of it remains in boxes, and we wonder if some of it will ever see the light of day again. Like so many others, that subtle pull of getting all of this stuff soon overpowered us. We became consumer junkies who have a difficult time knowing when enough is really enough. What we are learning, and what I believe we all must learn, is that we must, as Hamilton puts it, cultivate contentment and reevaluate what constitutes a good life. He goes on to say, the problem arises when we make the acquisition of wealth and the material possessions our focus in life. In these times of economic uncertainty, we must stay focused on the spiritual and the eternal, on those things that have ultimate value. We must not get distracted by what we do not have, Instead, we must grow in our recognition of and our gratitude for the ways in which God has richly and abundantly blessed us, not with things, but with love and mercy and grace. A healthy, scriptural, spiritual understanding of stewardship keeps all of this in perspective for us. I commend this little book to you. I believe as we study and reflect and renew our commitment to Christ and begin to practice some of the principles, we will indeed discover joy in living through simplicity and generosity, and it will be enough.